do that. That won't go on. Johnny, seriously? Johnny on the spot. We're doing everything. All right, it says we're not on, but I think we are. We are. All right, let's record this for posterity. All right, let's make sure we're on Facebook. And we should be. And we are. Those are shiny faces. All right, everybody, welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. We got a full house tonight.
It's a full house.
Mr. Cousins, we got a full house tonight. Welcome to the Bruichladdich elevated tasting. We got a great tasting for you tonight. I mean, we're starting off like with some major heavy hitters tonight. It's going to be great. So those of you who don't like peated whiskey, the second half is peated whiskey. And if you don't like peated whiskey, you shouldn't have come. But listen, actually, everybody that came got their bottle of the classic Lottie, which is not peated and is a great dram. It's one I always, I got to tell you, this is Jason. By the way, this is Jason Cousins. He is the he's like the ambassador extraordinaire. Oh. You've done everything, and it's always great to have you with us.
It's good to be here. It's a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. Always a pleasure.
Oh, she's ready. Are we doing it on the first one? Yep. You can start handing out. We'll just we'll cool. Fill time as you give us food. I mean, that won't be that's never an issue. No, you know what? It's one of those type of things that the classic Lottie, because it comes from Isla, whenever we talk to people about in the aisle about what they're looking for and what they want, and they say we don't want peated, it's one of those things that we have to constantly remind ourselves: do not overlook the classic Lottie because it's well priced. It's a great dram, and we're not going to try that one tonight. But you guys all have a bottle, so you can try it at home. Try it at home, which is even better because you'll probably end up drinking half the bottle, and we can't have that here tonight.
But so that being said, anything that says Bruichladdich on the bottle is unpeated. That's our unpeated.
Yeah, there is a hidden code. If it says Bruichladdich, it's not peated. If it says anything else from Bruichladdich, it's peated.
Yeah,
right.
Unless it's gin.
Unless it's gin. Well, now we got barrel aged gin and stuff too. So peated gin, yes, peated gin.
No, we're trying to get away from that whole idea of Isla as being a flavor profile. It's a place. It's a community.
It's a place, right. And although traditionally it has had a lot of peat, it's also had quite a few distilleries or expressions that haven't been peated. Yeah. And sometimes that gets lost in its own history. Yeah. And I think Bruichladdich sort of keeps that part of that sort of alive. All right. So I should probably also tell you tonight, we're going to have selections of what we're tasting tonight is going to be paired with food from Chef Alina Eisenhower. She's going to come out here and tell you what each one is. Although we do have she gave us a cheat sheet, but I don't. Can Chef come out here? She can. I hear from the back, like behind the curtain. Yes, she can. All right, here she comes up here. I'm going to have her come up here and explain the food, and then we'll get into the whiskey. But I think most people, they know they're going to drink whiskey, but they don't know what they're having for the food. You should be good to go.
Am I good to go?
You're good to go.
All right. Good.
All right. So what's the first pairing? Why don't you tell us what we're going to drink first, Jason, and then Chef, you tell us what we're gonna eat.
So we are starting with our current single vintage edition of Isla grown barley. So these are all barley forward, a little bit on the younger side. The idea being that you're showcasing more of the grain and less of the cask, but the cask is there obviously to create balance.
Okay.
A little bit of wine cask, a little bit of sherry barrel in there. This is coming from 7 farms, all within a 10-mile radius around Bruichladdich. You can expect more minerality in barley that's grown on the island. There's more salt in the soil, salt in the air. I mean, anyone here who's been to Isla, it's very maritime driven.
Okay.
So yeah, peppery, spicy, nice kind of honeyed backbone to it. Just an easy, interesting sipping dram.
Okay. I should tell you the first one is, I just give you some hints in case people out there. The first one is gluten-free, and it is vegetarian. And all the things you'll be trying tonight are nut-free. Thank you, Chef Alina.
For Ryan.
For me.
Yes.
All right. So tell us what the first thing we're going to be having tonight.
The first pairing is a complementary pairing. So we can, right, when we pair, we can either do things that are kind of mimic what's in the whiskey or balance it. This mimics a lot of what's in this scotch. So it's goat cheese, crostini with goat cheese, peach, a little bit of honey, a little bit of thyme, and a tiny bit of sea salt. So you get the grain, which, and even the goat cheese helps to reinforce that, but you get the grain, the honey, the fruit, which is from the cask, and then the saltiness and minerality, and the thyme brings out a little bit again of the minerality and kind of grassiness.
Yep. I mean,
That's
just
really good.
on paper, it's perfect. I haven't even tried it yet.
When did you put it in your mouth? It's
so
even
good.
more perfect. That's a really good pairing. Chef, I need about 6 more of these and we'd be perfect. That's really good though. That really goes well. And it's so funny that that little bit of sea salt, a little brininess, really does mirror exactly what's going on in the whiskey, right?
Yeah, you've got the stone fruit, you've got that herbal
Mhm.
character to it. The honey is there. That's little sea salt, that minerality, just dialing up flavor.
What do you guys think? Do you like the whiskey? All right. Do you like the food? How about together? All right.
I think it's a good summer pairing,
It
actually.
is.
Yeah,
It
for
is
sure.
actually really nice. Good
Whiskey
summer
and the,
pairing.
yeah.
By the way, you drink other warm drinks in the summer. We were just talking about hot coffee. Having whiskey in summer is perfectly fine. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be like 90 degrees. So this would go a great pairing for that. All right.
All right, go make your next
Yeah,
one.
she's going to make her next thing. She can't just stay up here and gab with us. Let me take her back down.
I mean, I don't know how you top that though.
I mean, this is why she's the this stuff is like,
Yeah.
it's really, really good. I love this whiskey, by the way. I love the fact that, it doesn't, I don't necessarily know if the barley has to come from Isla, but I love the fact that it does.
It's a good point. I mean, regardless of where you end up on the whole terroir or provenance discussion, there's a
It's
division.
Provence.
Yeah, there's definitely it's contentious for sure.
Yes.
But if you sort of back up a bit, just pulling from what's around you, the whole
Right.
idea what goes together, what grows together goes together. It's just the right thing to do.
Well, I mean, really, isn't that sort of part of the distillery's whole sort of philosophy is a minimal footprint of and taxation of resources
Yeah,
that you can, right?
I mean, that's a Scottish thing across the board, and
yeah.
being as efficient with your resources as possible is
Well,
one way.
they always say there's no E in whiskey because it costs extra money. Is that true?
That's a good reason. Yeah,
Good reason.
But yeah, we try to keep things on Isla as much as possible. I mean, we're the only major distillery that not only distills but ages and bottles everything on the island. Doesn't leave the island until it's in.
Yeah,
that
I don't
bottle.
think a lot of people do realize that. A lot of stuff that is made on the island is actually not even bottled on the island. It gets shipped over.
Correct,
It
yeah.
gets stored in barrels off island, and then it gets bottled off island.
Which I mean, in
Which is
large distilleries' defense, it makes sense. If anyone's been to Isla, it's a pain in the ass to get on and off the island.
No, that's exactly.
And imagine moving, millions of liters of product off the island. But I guarantee tonight, sipping through these, no one is gonna nose this, taste this, and say this just doesn't taste efficient enough. So we've never been an efficient distillery.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
sure.
That is true. And the other part, the other side of we talk about this, and some of the rick houses are right against the ocean, but you got to remember in Scotland, in general, you're no more than 60 miles from the ocean, no matter where you are.
Yeah, right.
So you're still always going to get a little bit of that sort of maritime
Yeah.
climate, anyways, right? So just let everybody know. I don't think we said, but this one is a 100 proof, 50% ABV.
These we start at 100 proof. If it's below 100 proof, it's old. So
Okay.
yeah.
So like all the new expressions are, and I hate saying new expressions. They're still, I mean, well, this one was done in 2013.
Yeah.
So, but I've been enjoying these almost every year, and the 2014 lives up.
Yeah.
I think it really does. I think I may like that one better than last year's.
Yeah, these are.
Don't tell anybody, but
If you were to compare these to the blue bottles, a classic that everybody has here, the classic is like a dialed-in flavor profile. We know what we want to taste like.
Mhm.
That recipe is going to change because we are using barley grown outside the commodity system. And when you're using barley outside the commodity system, year to year flavors change, right?
Right.
This is kind of the opposite, where we're starting with set farms, 1 year's harvest. That's it.
Right.
And the whiskey that comes out of that is that expression of time, that sort of, snapshot.
There's no repeating it.
Right.
And it's
Correct.
going to be a product of its environment.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, whether we want to talk about terroir or Provence.
I like product of its environment.
I like part of its environment too. Anytime you're going to use French, I'm usually against it. Shut up. We also have, so when we start doing the food, maybe we can hand out we have a list of all the food stuff, because I know some people are going to want to take that home as we're going along. All right. So the next one that we're going to try, this was last year's whiskey of the year.
It was number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, for the top 20 most interesting from Whiskey Advocate. Just took double gold at San Francisco. I was looking it up. I heard we got 99 points. I don't know if they did points at San Francisco, but
No, they do points at San Francisco.
Yeah, it seems like a big
Absolutely.
number.
Most of the time you see about medals, gold medals, platinum, but there is also a numeric expression to that too.
Yeah, the Isla barley we just had was double gold. This was double gold. This is one of the best whiskeys out of Bruichladdich in a long time, as far as I'm concerned.
18 years old.
Yeah.
I have gotten to try this one. It is stunning.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is our second whiskey of the night says something. Again, elevated tasting. When you go down the pike, you're going to see like that. And I could probably do this too to give you a better something, like around $80. The next one's the next whiskey. This is around $200. So I know it doesn't matter like how much it costs. It matters how much it tastes. But I think you will agree with me once you taste this one. You'll understand that they do correlate sometimes. That's number 2, and this is in a really cool container. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, we became the first single malt Scotch distillery to get our B Corp certification.
Yep.
If anyone hasn't heard of a B Corp, basically it's a list of criteria that you as a business elect to hit that says you're using business as a force for good. Like you're putting people in line and balance with profit and planet. Patagonia, we're probably one of the most well-known B Corps out there. And we wanted to try to reduce our carbon footprint as much as possible, become more sustainable. We eliminated the tins on Classic Lottie. We redesigned that bottle using more recycled glass. We can get more on and off the island now, which is a big deal because we are bottling there. We dropped our carbon footprint by 65% just by changing that bottle.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we wanted to do a luxury whiskey because, good 20 years after opening the distillery, 20 plus, we have stocks laid down where we can release a significant age statement. And, the guys that have been working at Bruichladdich for decades always said 18 was the sweet spot in terms of like the best spirit, the best age point for the spirit coming off those Victorian stills.
Off the Victorian stills, but it also has to do with the dunnage warehouses too, and the fact that there's not huge jumps in climate. Everything stays pretty much the same.
Yeah. 55
dark and damp. and so the aging process is a little bit slower.
And it's 18 years on Isla.
18 years on Isla does make a difference when you really look at it.
But the liquid aside, which, as we said, is obviously the most important part, we wanted to create that premium feel and not create just another big, ridiculous box that, you put up on the shelf and then you buy another bottle and that one goes in a landfill.
That's right.
Right. So this is 100% post-consumer consumer grade paper. We work with a 19th century paper manufacturer in London to create this proprietary shell. It's molded to the bottle and it creates this sort of lovely sleeve, if you will, that we have this beautiful bottle, which is the same size, the same design as the classic, but a little bit longer, a little more elegant, glass stopper. And you can throw this in your compost. So it gives it that sort of premium feel, but doesn't contribute to any sort of waste.
And but it also still, it is still a protective thing too.
Yeah. 100%.
When I'm packing this in my suitcase, taking it somewhere, I don't have to put an extra sock on it.
There you go.
So it saves in that too.
But as we all know, what really matters is the liquid inside.
And now what's the ABV on this one?
This is 50%.
50%.
So we're at 100 proof. And I think we talked about this before, and I don't know if you gave me an answer. I don't know of another 18 year at 100 proof.
That's good. Yeah, there aren't that many. And,
Right.
besides the point of that too, is like when you start doing, and here's like, see how I say that? Here's the real sort of feel about that too. When you're starting to do stuff that's older, like 18 years old, you got to remember, if I do it at 100 proof, there's less bottles produced.
Mhm.
Less water means less production or for people to buy. So now if you were going to do a limited release and you do it at a higher proof, it's a real limited release because you just sucked up. I don't even care if it's like one case. It's still one case less that somebody else can't get.
It's not efficient.
It's not efficient. No one ever accused Bruichladdich of being efficient.
But so Jim McEwen, what the master store that reopened the distillery, when we first opened, we were bottling at 46%. But he found that extra 4% bump, bringing it up to 50%, tend to boost aromatics. You get more character coming from the barley, more character coming from the barrels. And so we've been at 50% sort of as the default, the base since. So at 18 years, you are getting a bigger backbone to this whiskey.
Yeah.
And
there's less of it. And there's less of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes to saying, how do you guys like the 18? Yeah. I mean, I just think it's just a lovely, lovely whiskey. I really do like this one a lot.
It's a little bit of Sauterne cask in there and
Mhm.
a touch of port, but primarily first fill bourbon, 18 years.
And this is one of those ones that I think gets overlooked. I was really happy that it did really, really well in the rankings and stuff because I think it not being a big smoky peaty whiskey from Isla at 18 years old sort of put it in like sort of a also ran category, and it finally getting the recognition that it actually deserves. And you guys get to try it tonight. And you can tell me, does it deserve it? I think it does. All right. And I think we can, John, are you guys bringing out the next stuff? Next one. Okay. It's coming. All right. We'll wait a little bit on that because we're going to have, you guys are going to have a food pairing with the Black Art, which is going to be nice. So they're starting to bring those out now. Let's give a little bit of history of the Black Art, which is going to be our next whiskey.
I mean, Black Art is history in itself.
It is.
This is some of the first barrels, the barrels that came with the warehouse when we purchased it. It was about 6,000 casks that came with the distillery. The joke was,
Thank you.
Kind of got the distillery for free, and it was the whiskey that was the valuable thing.
Right.
And there were certain barrels that Jim had set aside over the years that he thought were special. That he recast them into new oak, into wine casks.
Well, at
Kept
the
an eye on
time
them over the
too,
years.
they had access to wine casks because
Yeah.
they were the company that owned them were also wine merchants too.
Yeah, Simon
So
Coughlin,
Simon
Mark
Coughlin,
Grenier,
right.
Murray
They
McDade.
had access to wine casks, which wasn't a big thing. If you weren't port or sherry, no one really, it was port, sherry, and bourbon. That was it. I mean, anything else after that, I mean, and they put some stuff in, like you said, Sauterne cask and stuff like that. And this was way before it sort of became like fashionable to do so.
They thought we couldn't do it. We're looking for reasons why we couldn't, and the whole point was, well, what are sherry casks or port casks if not wine barrels?
That's right.
So why can't we use Cote de Rhone or Burgundy or Bordeaux or what have you?
Pauliac.
We have
I didn't remember a Pauliac cask.
Pauliac, yeah,
Yeah.
Pomerol. We have
Yep.
over 230 different types of casks in about 100,000 barrels. So
All right. Now that Andrew has started taking over as a thing too, right?
I mean, Adam.
Adam, sorry,
yeah.
sorry. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, you know what? I confused somebody else that's at Andrew and Adam like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I got this thing stuck in my head now, but now he's sort of blending these up too. So he gets to go back and really look at what you guys have in the rick houses and sort of see what in the warehouses and see what's what and what's going to go together. And this has been a time-honored tradition at Bruichladdich.
So Adam Hannett, our head distiller since Jim retired in 2015. Yeah, it's been a minute. I keep calling him our new head distiller.
Yeah,
but
he's been there a while.
It's been there for a while.
I will say
2017, excuse me.
Jim has won the Lock and Key Award. He's the only person that's won it twice.
Wow.
And I think he loves the fact that is something that happened too.
But the fact that we have everything age on the island, that means it's all within a 10-minute walk from Adam's blending room.
Right.
So he can keep tabs on all these casks. And Adam has made every Black Art since Black Art 5.
Okay.
And the whole thing with the handover between Jim McEwen, legendary Illick, master distiller from Islay,
Right.
handing it over to Adam, he gave Adam the recipe for Black Art 5. And everything that Adam had learned from Jim was, no one tells you what kind of whiskey to make. No one would tell Jim, this is the whiskey that you're going to make.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Right?
You're not telling him what he's going to eat for breakfast. Never
Right.
mind what whiskey he's going to make.
The whole point of Bruichladdich is experimentation, is exploring flavor. It's making your own. It's that sort of connection between the people and the distillery. So Adam very politely thanked Jim, waited for him to leave, and then crumpled it up, threw it away, made his own Black Art 5. And every release since then has been him. And this is the end of the era for Black Art.
Oh, really?
There's no Black Art 12.
Oh, so this is it.
This is the last of those casks. We're down to less than half of 1% of those original 6,000 barrels.
Really?
So this is a special release because this is the last of that.
This is the end of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said earlier today, that's great about whiskey. There's always more whiskey.
There's always more whiskey, and
so
you can tell from the 18, we've got stocks down now that
Right.
we can pull to kind of fill that area.
Right. Now it's going to just change. It's not better or worse. It's just going to be different.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. All right. So, is Chef done over there? Can we get Chef back out here? Everybody get the next, you ate it already, didn't you? I can tell by looking at a couple, you ate it already, didn't you? Let's see if we can get Chef back up here to go over the next one. Did everybody get the paper anyways of what the next dishes are? Chef's coming up now. All right. Because I'd rather have her tell you, but instead of us muddling through this.
This is fun reading the tasting notes here from Chef, because I don't know if you know this about Black Art, but nobody knows what casks are being used for this. It's secret. So looking at your palette kind of gives more clues as to what we can expect, what kind of casks are maybe used to put this maturation profile together.
I will let you guys know this one is not this is not vegan. This is not vegan. But it still is gluten free. Hold on, I got to bring your
whiskey is too, actually.
Yeah, but I got to let you know this is dairy free and gluten free
And not free.
and not free. That goes without saying. All right, so number 3, and what do we got, Chef?
So we have a roast duck, mini taco on a corn taco with a blackberry jalapeno salsa. So it's got blackberries, jalapeno, a little bit of shallot. There's a tiny bit of cumin on the duck, not too much because I didn't want to overpower the flavors, but bring out the flavors in the scotch. And a tiny bit on top. The greens, I didn't do cilantro, which actually would have worked, a tiny bit of cilantro, but I know that some people get that soap thing and I didn't want to ruin your tasting. So it's it's baby carrot tops because they have a very faint, but still kind of echo a similar flavor.
All right. Damn. How do you do that? That's really cool. Do you guys, what do you think? Okay, whiskey first. Yes? No? You didn't like it? No? You liked it? Okay. Now food.
It's kind of hard to tell where one stops.
Well, that's
yeah.
both. I give up. I surrender. Just give me the food and the whiskey. The duck is really good. I'm a sucker for duck.
Yeah, me too. And the tiny bit of jalapeno brings up the warmth.
There's a little bit warm. Yeah.
It's the first time I think it's the first time I've done anything even slightly Mexican-ish for a tasting.
The plum and the cherry.
The plum and the cherry go amazing, and they go really, really well with the whiskey. That's a really good pairing. When my kids were little, my wife Jen and I like duck, and we kept telling them it was dark meat chicken.
It's a little bit stretch, but it's not too much of a stretch.
Until the little English kids came over and they said, "No, that's duck." My kids are like, "What, Dad?" I said, "It's chicken duck." Go look it up. They looked it up. There is actually a thing as chicken duck. So I was off the hook for another year before they realized. But this is really good. I like this a lot. Yeah,
That's really good.
This may be, I've been through a lot of the black arts. My wife didn't like whiskey at all. She didn't like whiskey. I would try her. She goes, "I like the way it smells." And then she tried it. She didn't like it and stuff. The first whiskey she liked was Black Art. And at the time it was like $400 a bottle. And I go, "Of course you like it." But the point of it is though, is that the depth and breadth of flavors in there are amazing. And this may be, well, I'm going to say it this way. I think this is the best one that Adam has produced. I think. Save the best for last. It's the last time it's going to be done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think this one is just damn good.
Yeah.
Damn good. And I'm not saying the other ones are slouches. I just like this one a little bit more.
You could
think
pair
that-
it with so many things too.
Right.
Like you could do really amazing sweet pairings with it too.
Now you could do sweet pairings with this. Absolutely. That's so good.
It's the end of an era.
I know we have a little bit. There is a little bit in the warehouse of our wholesales warehouse too. So there's a little bit left.
Yeah.
So we have some here tonight, obviously, and we'll go through all that stuff later on. But I just want to have Chef. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
That was
Yeah.
delicious.
Fantastic.
This is why she's the best, though, right? I mean, come on, that was really, really good. John, you got to move faster back there, though. You got to have the food ready. But he's on it. He's on it. For those of you who don't know, in the back, working with Chef, has a friend of hers working back there, and our own Johnny on the Spot, who does our radio show with us every week and actually helps pick a lot of our barrels with us, is back there hustling food today, which is you just broke a sweat. You haven't eaten a lot though, have you? No. You gotta listen. If you're gonna run around with food, you gotta try it. Yeah, you gotta try it. All right.
Do we have time for 2 black art stories?
Of course.
Okay.
You guys aren't going anywhere, are you? We got more whiskey, so
So
as long as I have whiskey, they're not going anywhere. When they run out of whiskey, they
Right.
leave. Trust me.
This particular black art's a 1998 vintage. Now, I've been on Bruichladdich, working on Bruichladdich for 10 years, and have found out over the years it's always a rule of Bruichladdich until it's not.
Mhm.
And I have always been told that 1994 was the hard stop. It was mothballed, shut down until it was reopened in 2001 by Mark and Simon.
Yep.
So when they released in 1998, it was like, well, hold on, wait
Hey.
a second. Come to find out, at that time, it was owned by White Mackay, part of the Jim Beam brands,
Yep.
and they also own Jura. So they shut down Bruichladdich, is seeing it as being surplus to requirement. They already had an island distillery. They didn't need 2, but they sent the guys from Jura over for 2 months in 1998 to fire up the stills to see if it still worked.
Okay.
And this is that whiskey that was distilled in 2
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
So
Now-
this was the whiskey to work the gunk out.
This is the test whiskey. It's
Test
pretty good.
It's pretty good
Test
test
whiskey,
whiskey.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Now,
wish my test stuff tasted this good.
for 10 years now, I have been telling this story about Warehouse 16
Mhm.
at Bruichladdich, where we store the best barrels, where all the black art casks are secretly held.
Right.
That are, the Jim had set them aside. Now Adam is the steward of those barrels. And we called Warehouse 16 the Vatican.
Okay.
And to my mind, it made sense. The holiest of the holies, the best of the best, right? The Vatican was the like the most holy part, the whole spot in the Bruichladdich distillery. So last time I was there was in 2022. I did a day working with the guys in the warehouse, and we're just all chatting, and I brought up the Vatican. I said, "Yes, when did you guys come up with that idea to name it after the Vatican?" And I told them my sort of perspective on how it was, the best of the best, the holy cask, and they looked at me like I had 2 heads and said, "What are you talking about? What, don't you call this the Vatican?" I said, "Yeah, it's because it's where we do the vatting."
Do I have one over here? I must have one. I gotta have one. Do I have a drum roll?
So for 10 years, I've been telling this story because I heard it from, I think, from Lynn McEwen of all people. And if you've ever heard Lynn, she's a master
Yes,
storyteller.
exactly.
Um,
It's just from
but the
living
whole,
with
the
Jim
whole
so
it was
long,
a
I
dad
get it.
joke. It was
Yeah.
just,
It was a dad joke. Yes, I
Oh.
get it.
there
And
we
I
go.
actually get to I don't know if anybody's here. Has anybody here been with me over to Isla with Jim? Remember, one guy. That's because Rick is sort of like old salt, man. He's been everywhere. Jim tells a story about he had a group of Germans, and they're very precise about everything. And he had the door open to the Vatican, and the questions now abounded of like, how is that going to change the whiskey? And he's like, what do you mean? Well, you have the door open now, and then you're going to shut the door. Now, how is that going to affect the whiskey? And Jim's like, not one bloody bit. Is that going to change the whiskey for the hour we've been in here? That whiskey, the whiskey that we have in this room is like gonna be like 20 years old. Don't worry about it.
Meanwhile, the windows are rusted over.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. It's like, trust me, you shut the door and you can still see through it. You know what I mean? So, but it's always the black art is always gonna hold a special place, and I think a lot of us who have been fans of Bruichladdich for many years, and it's a nice thing, but it's a sad thing to see it's out of go. And especially when it tastes like this, right? Right. So enjoy it. Listen, again, best thing is about whiskey, there's always more whiskey. Don't worry about it. I'm sure Adam's got something already up his sleeve that he's
got a few
ready
things
to do.
coming.
Yeah. So, all right. Number 4.
Now we're getting to the peated stuff, right?
Peated stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So number 4, and if you guys want to start, don't eat this with that, but whenever you're ready, they're still plating. Okay, great. I just want to make sure. Number 4 is going to be the Port Charlotte 10. All right. So we are now getting into peated whiskey. If you didn't put it up to your nose and smell it first, we're getting into peated whiskey. But if you smell that, this is what I like to call like younger whiskey, like 10 years old, like perfect is really perfect. As you get into this thing I like to call the sweet peat. The peated whiskey at this age doesn't show like earthy and a lot of those really like real heavy savory flavors. I think it sort of shows a sweetness to it.
Yeah.
And I think that abounds because it's not only sweet, but you sort of get that like briny, saline sort of feel to it. Yeah. It feels like it's right from the ocean. It feels like you should be even eating probably oysters, right?
It's a great pairing.
Right.
And it's what's fun about Port Charlotte is when I go back to this is kind of my go-to dram.
Yeah.
I always pull something new out of there.
Right.
I mean,
well, it's a thinking person's whiskey, as they like to say.
There you go.
Okay. You're gonna have
hold on these. These are not for Port Charlotte.
These are not for Port Charlotte. Okay, the 10. Hold both of these for the next whiskey, but we got to hand them out. So you have to be very, very precise about how we get everything out to you guys. So I remember the relaunch of this, that this started coming out, but just try this one again. What's the ABV on this one?
50%.
That's still 50.
Yeah.
What was the black art? I forgot to ask. Do you know?
46.
46, because this would have been in the old.
Don't quote me on that because 44.2.
44.2. Okay. No, I should point out, by the way, on all of these, there's no coloring. There's no filtrate.
Yeah.
Chill filter.
No chill filtration.
No chill.
So they have that rich, creamy texture to them.
This may be my favorite. I just love this one. I don't know why. I just do. It's just it immediately brings me to Isla. And the flavor components on this are just to me amazing. And I guess this like I get the saline, I get the smokiness, I get the sweet thing, and I just get this. And this is gonna be weird, and some of you may fault me for this one, but I get the slightest bit. He knows where I'm going. I get the slightest bit of chloroseptic.
Green chloroseptic.
Green chloroseptic. Yeah. It's very important that it's the green.
And you will never, now that he said that, you will never not
taste it. Oh, who's had chloroseptic when they were a kid and they were like, when they were sick?
Spray in the back of the
throat?
throat?
You all have either the no hair or
There's
gray hair.
On that
I've seen that, yeah. There is alcohol in that.
Not
Maybe that's why I liked it when I was a kid. Yeah, maybe that's why I liked it so much as a kid when I was sick, right? But it's a tasting profile, and it's very accurate, and it's not terrible.
It's not.
People may think it's terrible, but it's not terrible.
I would probably
Bob Barker.
killing me.
Bob Barker would not. This is The Price is Right, right? That's what I would be watching when I was sick. Yeah,
it's a nice combination of, for me, menthol and alcohol together.
Yeah,
maybe that's kind of where we're going.
You're just trying to be nice about it. It's really good. I mean, I think more people they go, that is it. I know that. That's the flavor.
I get it more in Octomore now that you said it, which we can revisit.
All right, we'll revisit.
But for me, barbecue, hickory smoke,
Yeah.
mesquite, almost like a mezcal type of smoke to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice kind of bit of fruit there. There's some wine cask in there, about 25% red wine, French red wine casks. You know, what I love about Port Charlotte is it's just so incredibly layered, textured. There's just so much going on. And to your point, it's a thinking person's whiskey. It's meant to be
Yeah.
experiential. You know, this is the type that we do this kind of thing where we taste together, we eat together. It's food and beverage, it's hospitality, it's social, you know, all that.
When Simon did the relaunch of this, because at the time, Simon, when this was done, Simon was still there. They had a black tin like this, and when you opened up the inside, it was that bright yellow. See that bright yellow on the front, the inside of the tin. I'm going to tell the story, and you can't stop me. And we were really there for the launch. I mean,
Yeah.
we were there at the time. And I said, Simon, why didn't you make this cap? Why didn't you make it the same color as this? Because everybody's going to throw the tin away. Notice you don't have any tins anymore. Everybody's going to throw the tin away, but having this bright yellow cap on this this black bottle is really going to stand out on a bar. And I even went so far as to send them a mock-up that I did with a yellow cap. I painted the cap yellow and sent them a mock-up. And of course, all of that fell on deaf ears until, what am I hearing about a new relaunch?
I feel like I've been telling you that for years, though.
I know. I'm just waiting for it to
around
happen.
the corner. The caps
Just around the corner. They're going to have yellow caps. Don't worry, I don't get any money for that. Although I got free whiskey and I got to eat when I was over at Isla, so it's probably a wash. What do you guys think of this? First smoky whiskey. Again, I don't think it's overpowering smoke. I think it's very well put together, and it's got a lot of balance to this whiskey. I really, really do. I love it a lot. All right, so Chef's going to stay up here with us for the next two whiskeys, right?
Yes.
Oh no, the next we're gonna do one whiskey. The next whiskey we're gonna do two pairings. So Chef was only she does this to herself all the time. Chef was only supposed to do 3 pairings, but Chef did 4.
I did.
Because that's the type of person she is. She always gives more. She's very giving.
Have some fun with the last.
She's a very giving person. So the last one she had to do was, of course, was the 5th whiskey we're going to taste tonight, which is the Octomore, which is the brand new one out, the 15.1. Matter of fact, I'm just starting to see like people doing reviews on this, so it's fairly new out there.
So with having both pairings, try a little bit sweet and a little bit savory, and just to see the difference of what it pulls.
We're not giving you more, so you're gonna have to use the whiskey sparingly.
Take a taste. But it will pull different things, right? You're gonna notice that it pulls different flavors from it. The first one's the carrot one is super umami. It's got miso.
All right, so the first one is the one in the bowl with the tiny baby carrots.
Yes.
Right.
Maple, miso, sesame.
Maple, miso, baby carrots.
Yeah.
And what's the green?
Carrot.
Carrot.
Yep.
Carrot on carrot.
Baby carrot top to bring up the carrot flavor a little bit. Yeah.
That's great when I'm on the mic, but yeah, it tastes delicious. Yeah. Oh man, that's great. You want some?
Sure. I mean, then I can taste it with it. Yeah. Which is which here?
We got you. That's a really
that's
good. That's a very, very good pairing. That's delicious.
It's going to be totally different.
Yeah, I remember just saying, like, okay, if you said
tropical out,
I know.
The savory is going to pull more of the wood and the oak, right? And then with the umami, and then the sweet's going to pull the tropical.
If you had told me at the beginning of the night that I was going to have carrots and whiskey and I was going to like it, I probably would have told you you're dang crazy, woman. But you're not, and it works. It works really, really well. So that's the sweet. All right. Now,
that's
savory. I mean, excuse me. Well, I had maple syrup on it, so it's I got a little bit on me. But now it's the sweet. Now the sweet, this is sweet because I'm reading the things. What's the sweet one?
Banana. So there's just a tiny bit of dark chocolate, but that's supposed to just really be a little bit. And then it's roasted banana, and it's mostly the whole tart is really mostly roasted banana. So roasted with the tiniest bit of brown sugar, and just roasted to bring up the banana flavor. And then a caramelized banana on top.
Damn.
little bit of cream in it, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's mostly banana.
All right. I'm gonna try this one now.
It should taste totally different.
Well, first of all,
And you
that's just
usually like one more than the other.
that's just good on its own. That's just good on its own. That's really good.
Wow.
Oh, damn, it's like I'm almost tasting two whiskeys. Right? I mean, how does that work? That's great. That's really good.
Yeah.
It is. It's almost like it's two different whiskeys.
Octomore is just so dense, so concentrated. There's a lot there to pull from, and you've kind of checked as many of the boxes as you can there. So that's a lot going on.
I like banana
impressed.
anyway, so that you had me at banana.
Yeah, the savory, I love the banana and the chocolate.
But the banana and the smoke, you might not
Yeah.
think, you don't think, are those going to really go together? But they do. That's really good. A very good job.
Banana
this one.
Foster.
Yeah, it's sort of like a banana foster. Maybe that's why I like it so much. I didn't really. Does everybody know Chef Elena? Because I really didn't like. I always feel like everybody knows. Like, Chef's been a friend of mine for so long, but she is one of the people that I always go to because I know no matter what assignment I give her, if as long as it's with food, it's going to come out unbelievable and it's done in such a way. So, um, I want to say, well, I'm going to start with the one. If you remember her place in on Shrewsbury Street, Sweet, if you've ever been there, it was fantastic. I just love going there. And then Sweet Genius, she won Sweet Genius. She's Cupcake Wars, Beat Bobby Flay. I think he rigged that one.
I can tell you stories.
You see, I knew it. But I can go on and on. You have while you're here, you should probably tell everybody about your new sort of projects you got going on. You want to let everybody know about your YouTube and all the stuff you're doing that?
Yeah. So since for the past 3 years, so one of the reasons all the allergy stuff's on the menu is that's a lot of what I do now. About 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, so I'm gluten free, so I can't eat anything with gluten in it. So I noticed there was a big need, like that was missing in the industry. So my entire business now is online, and I teach cooking, baking, all things food, and actually drink too.
Yeah, drink too.
For the gluten-free and allergy community. I don't do a lot of these types of things other than for my friends. And Ryan, I love doing them here. I love whiskey and scotch. Ryan knows that. So
That's how I lure her in.
Yeah. I like to dispel the myths that some people have about that they can't drink this stuff if they're gluten-free, because distillation takes care of that problem. But yeah, so I have a YouTube channel, a website.
What's the YouTube channel?
On all social media, it's Chef Alina with an E at the end. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay, good. Check her out. She's done some really cool things. She actually did some neat things for us with drink recipes with non-alcoholic stuff too, which was really great. And a lot of people had a lot of fun with those recipes. So
And I threatened him, I'm going to come do a YouTube here soon.
all right, well, I'll listen. Yeah. You can come here anytime you want. You know that. But thank you, Chef. Thank you for the food.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. Really special. Yeah, you want to do? We got to do one more. Just stay there. We're just gonna drink whiskey. Your job's done. We already
Okay,
got all the food.
Coast.
Coast,
I'll
lady,
drink
coast.
whiskey.
All right. So tell us about the 15.1.
So this is
Now that we've drunk it twice.
Octomore is an enigma. It's always fun to talk about. So Octomore is 5 years old.
Okay.
In terms of the level of peat, we had Port Charlotte, which is at 40 ppm.
Right.
There's other Islas at around 40, 35, 40, 50 ppm is standard.
Parts per million of phenol.
Phenols, yeah. So
Okay.
phenol part per million, like an IBU rating for beer, but the measure of the smokiness in the malt before it's distilled.
Now some of that goes away when you
Well,
distill it, right?
a lot of it goes away. Depends on how you distill it too.
Okay. All right.
They estimate you lose about a third to maybe about a half of the ppm by the
Okay.
time it gets in the bottle. Octomore starts at 80. This particular bottle is 108.2 phenol parts per million, which you laugh, but that's soft for an Octomore. We hit
Right, I
the
know.
same line, 15.3, 307 ppm,
Wow.
which is just.
How did you even distill it? It could have just been. It would have all been smoke.
I'm waiting for the 1 million parts per million, just a brick of peat.
We're just gonna. Jim is now gonna put a bricker's peat right into the distill.
right in the bottle.
But the whole point of this sort of was how much phenols could we stuff into a bottle?
Yeah, so this was a bit of we worked with our maltsters up in Baird's up in the Highlands. We're asking them, how are you able to get on Port Charlotte 40.0 to the decimal point ppm in a room that's full of smoke? It's not an exact science. You go to these, you visit these spots, and it's not like they can control
Right.
the ppm. And we found out that no, they actually can. And what they do is they'll get what they get, and they bring it down with unpeated malt to order. So they cut it.
Oh, okay. They cut it. Yeah.
So then Jim's next question was, well, does anyone distill the uncut stuff? And I said, no, you couldn't do that. You can't tell Jim you can't do something. So he said, send me a
Big
batch.
mistake.
And then it became, well, then how much more phenols can we get? How far can we push that? So let's start, maximizing the amount of smoke while minimizing
This
the
is
amount of
such an
heat and-
American thing to do. I know he's Scottish and stuff like that, but we live in a land of extremes, right? If you tell us that like in beer, hops is good, we'll go, okay, so how much of that can we put in there? And we have these super hoppy beers that suck your whole entire
But they'll,
face in.
they'll taste that.
Right.
Yeah, they'll suck
Right.
your face in. This, I mean, to my palate, doesn't
No, it
do
doesn't.
that. So the thing about Octomore, it reads like it's absolutely undrinkable. It's 5 years old. It's too young. It's 108 ppm. It's too peaty. This is at 59, I think, ppm ABV on this. So, roughly 120 proof. We're at 59.1. So it's
Yeah.
too strong.
Right.
But it's about bringing these ridiculous off the chart numbers, these larger than life sort of figures, and bringing them to something that's impeccably balanced. Now, to your point about losing your ppm, you lose ppm through distillation, through maturation, through bringing it down to bottling proof. Running a still is like running a faucet, right? You run the faucet for like the good 10 minutes or so. You're not going to use that part. That's your heads.
Right.
And then after about 10 minutes, the water's up to temperature. You're going to keep that middle part running for about a couple hours. That's your heart.
Yep.
And then you let it run off, and it's the tails. You're not going to use that part. So typically the first cut's like 10 to 15 minutes in. Bruichladdich, that first cut's in Port Charlotte about 30 minutes in.
Okay.
Octomore is about 45 minutes in.
All right.
So we're taking a very, very narrow
Now
cut
what?
on that. So
Right.
again, not efficient,
Right.
but you lose a lot of those volatile, funkier elements, and you're retaining that classic, vibrant, stone fruit forward, Bruichladdich, core element, but also retaining the phenols.
I learned you just have Scheffelina make you 2 pairings for it, and it works well fine.
I didn't have any tasting notes until I read this.
Really. But again, it's like it's pushing the limits, but it's also showing the value, showing the creativity that it does still work.
Yeah, we're not looking to kind of create that, like IBU bomb like you were talking about.
Right.
It's about, I talk about it like starting with a bigger block of marble so you can get more detailed into the sculpture.
Okay.
Create something more beautiful.
All right.
So 0.1 is the reference. It's the benchmark for Octomore for this year. It's 5 years in American oak, 100% Scottish barley.
Okay.
So 108.2 ppm, 59.1. Now, if we're going into 0.2,
Which is the next one,
what's
number
the
6.
next one? That's that same malt off the stills, but a different path in the warehouse.
Okay.
So we're still at 108.2 ppm, a little bit lower in ABV because we lost more to angel share because we're using larger casks. That's a mix of bourbon barrels, French wine casks, aged for 4 years, then finished in a cognac barrel for 1 year.
All right. 1 year in cognac finish. Okay. You can actually smell that on the
Mhm.
nose too.
Oh, you can taste it.
Always keep them guessing.
That's good. Get a little tobacco.
You can actually get and the weird part is I think you get a sweeter tone to this.
Yes.
It's there's almost a
Hot
candy.
beer.
There's a candy note that you get on the finish.
Yeah.
Like really sweet tobacco.
It's
Yeah.
tobacco, leather,
Yeah.
cedar, like pipe tobacco almost.
No, you know what it is?
Tobacco.
Yeah, little-
No,
That
no, it's not
sweet,
pipe
sweet
tobacco.
Pipe tobacco. What is it?
It's
Green
chew.
Forest
It's
Septic,
chew.
right?
No, it's chew.
Big league
It's
or
no, like the not big league bubble gum. I'm talking about the tobacco leaf chew.
yeah.
It's sweet, and that's almost dead on to this. I wouldn't go as far as a pipe smoke, but I never chewed pipe smoke, so I couldn't tell you.
I haven't either. I just remember like smelling.
I know.
Like smelling
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
like from my dad or whatever, and that essence is totally there.
But we don't care what we think. What do you guys think? Do you like
Really-
this one?
I really like this one.
I kind of want to go back to the food
I know.
There,
Well, yeah,
same malt,
With the
right?
banana. would
yeah,
be
the banana would be great.
spot on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just out of curiosity, 15.1. Okay. 15.2. Ooh.
So you're in luck. I saw considerably more 15.2 up there than
we do have,
15.1.
no, we actually have the same amount.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't put it all out, but we do have those up there. Dvorak wants to know, because there's never enough whiskey for him. Where's the 15.3? That's not
Well,
here yet.
As I said, that was the one that was 307 ppm, so just shy of 2 points from the world record.
Wow.
Oh.
So that one is a little bit harder to find.
Oh, is Massachusetts getting any?
I think you might be some in the warehouse.
All
I'll
right.
check on that.
If anybody wants some, come see me. Or John, and we'll put it on the order slip. All right. That's it, right? We're done. By the way, you guys all got glasses to take home with you too. So
Like that, the finish just stays with you.
yeah, it's definitely
It's a really
lingering.
nice smoke.
All right. Man, that is really good. I might have to get a bottle of that.
It'd be good with grilled fruit.
It would be good with grilled peaches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Very good with grilled
pineapple.
peaches. Yeah, any grilled fruit.
Pineapple, I think. What? Roasted pineapple.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Are we all done? That it? We're good? Did you guys have fun? Yeah?
I'm getting a round of applause for Chef. This has been great.
By the way, give a round of applause for Jason, because he brought all the nice whiskey for us tonight. I want to thank y'all, everybody, for coming tonight. If you want to hear this again or watch it, you can go wherever you get your podcast. Look for It's the Liquor Talking, wherever you go to Spotify, or we're actually on YouTube. Also, you can check it out there too. So definitely check those out. We're gonna say goodbye to all those people tonight. You don't go anywhere. I get some more stuff to go up for you. Everybody on Facebook and so forth. We're gonna say bye. Bye, everybody. You should have been here. It was awesome.